When you die, there are three ways that your assets can be distributed. Number one, there are three things you can do, basically. Number one is nothing. Okay? Do nothing. Okay? That means the courts will decide where your assets go. Now, they'll follow some certain rules and regulations, and obviously if there's a remaining spouse or children, the courts after months and months, maybe years, will ultimately distribute the assets to those people. Okay? The second thing you could do is create a will, which is a very good document, a very important document to have, but it is a document that needs to be probated, has to go through the court. Okay? Now, the courts are very, very backed up. As a matter of fact, they have shut down several family law courts. Okay? So it can take a tremendous amount of time for a will to be processed. And it is extremely expensive. The cost of probate is very expensive. Go online. Here's another thing for you to Google. See, Google probate cost in California. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars simply to implement what you want to have done with your will. But here's the biggest rub about a will. A will is a public document. Okay? The bad guys and gals out there pick up the newspaper, and the first place they go is the obituaries. Okay? They see who's died. They see, oh, this person lived in Coronado. Let's go check out their estate. And all they have to do, all they used to have to do, was go down to the courthouse, and they could pull your will. And the will would say, here's what I own, here's who I want it to go to. They know how much money you owe Nordstrom. They know everything about you. They can access that will because it's a public document. I say they used to have to go down to the courthouse. They can now do it at home in their underwear on the computer. Okay? They don't have to go to the courthouse anymore. They can unload, they can now access that information on their computer. That's not good. That's not good. And that puts you, well, you're gone. It puts your beneficiaries at high risk. Okay? So be careful with that. Just be aware of that. You know, that's why you hear all these times, every once in a while, you'll hear about a celebrity who dies, and you hear all this stuff about what they owned and who was getting what and stuff like that. It's because they just had a will. And all of that is public information. So the other way to do that is create a living trust. Okay? A living trust just makes a lot of sense. Okay? It is a document that doesn't need to be probated. You describe in the living trust how you want your assets distributed. Upon your death, the successor trustees become enacted, children, a friend, a designated person, and with only a small amount of documentation necessary, your assets are distributed the way you want them distributed. Pretty short order, pretty short order. It's a very, very simple thing to do. And what a living trust does that I think is really important is avoids a lot of those things. We all know, everybody knows, either if in your own family or in somebody's family that you know, families that have just been torn apart over a painting, a table, silverware, whatever, okay? With a living trust, all this stuff usually gets talked out in advance. The document is there. You share it with your children, with your beneficiaries, so that everybody knows what's going on and everything gets processed in a very quick, orderly manner. It's simple to do. A living trust, depending on how complicated your situation is, you can get created for $300 or $400. If it's a complicated situation, it could be more than that, but it's a heck of a lot less than the cost of probating